Listen up, I'm about to get done.
What's going on? It's time for another episode of Too Hard for the Radio. Transmitting from the future-free state of Greater Idaho, I am the one-armed madman. And back with me today from the Badlands of Southern Montana, it's Nolan 5150. What's up, brother? How we doing?
Yo, doing okay. Been dealing with a lot of
Playing the game like it's supposed to be played? You know, making much more than the minimum wage? That kind of thing?
Oh yeah. now I was
Yeah.
I was in aggressive negotiations with my with my company, trying to.
Oh, really? Is it time for a raise?
Yeah, it's been time, and had to make my moves, and things seem to work out, but for now all is well.
Right on. Yeah, man, it's always tough to like be in that position where you got to ask for something and you don't like you want the answer to be yes, because
Yeah.
when the answer is no, then it's just all fucking bad, right? Like I remember I was working in San Francisco and they hired this asshole to be our bar manager. He was a black guy, so they had to hire him because he's black, And he was an idiot. He had worked in restaurants before, but he'd never been a bartender, and he lied and said that he could bartend. And like, I worked with the guy for 5 minutes, and I went to my boss. I was like, this guy's never bartended a day in his life. But they had to keep him because, they gave him a lot of money, and it was, a black, we have to have diversity, And that guy got fired for stealing from the busboys and the waitresses. So at the end of the night, they would, tip me, and they would give him the money to give to me. And then they're stealing. Well, so essentially he's stealing from everybody because it's supposed to go to me, but it's going. Anyways, the guy finally got fired. And after like a month of me doing his job, I went to my boss and I was like, look, I've been doing that guy's job for 2 years. Like you hired somebody else to do it. I continue to do it. Like the only thing that I don't do for you is scheduling. And like I could do that, but essentially like I need a raise or I need to find a new job because I'm not going to do his job and my job and only get paid for my job. And my boss was like, oh, yeah, that's fair. And he was like, we don't really want you to be like, the bar manager. What if we just make you head bartender? I was like, that's perfect. That's perfect. Less responsibility, more money, more leverage. Like the best thing about that bar was picking your shifts. Because like, there's good shifts and there's bad shifts, and the weekend is when you make the money, right? And I always got the great shifts. That guy, the guy, when he started, he was clearly threatened by me from the beginning because I knew he was a fraud. Me and two other bartenders could tell that he was a fraud, but really he was threatened by me for the most part, probably because I was a man and the other two were women. And he the first time he got a hold of the schedule, he took me off of Saturday and Sunday days and put me onto weekdays. And I got a call from my boss on Sunday morning, and he's like, what the fuck happened to you this weekend? I'm like, I don't know. Ask your new fucking bar manager. He's like, I need you here now. He scheduled this idiot to work by themselves, and he can't do it. Like, can you get here? I guess, and that shit annoyed the fuck out of me.
Yeah, so I'm officially shop foreman.
That's perfect, right? Like you don't.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. That's like exactly what I got into. That's perfect.
I got a little bit of authority, but there's still somebody above me that has to deal with all the bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. So you can see this was the best part of it about like the first thing I did when they made me, head bartender was change everything. I changed everything about the bar. I have a way that I like to do things, and I think the way I do things are right. Like that's kind of my personality. It's kind of like libertarians in general. We're right about everything, and other people need to get in line because we've got it figured out, right? And so like there's an order that you should have your bottles in. There's an order you should have your fillers in, like your juices and your mixers and stuff like that. There's an order for these things because some are used more than others. In that particular bar, we used more pineapple than orange. We used, we did a lot of well drinks. So you wanted to have your vodka, rum, gin, tequila. All four of those got to be in a row. And the point of this wasn't to just be a dickhead. It was I'm a better bartender than all of you idiots put together. Like, you guys are morons. You can barely handle this job as it is. You're always calling me for help. I have to go from my bar to your bar to help. And when I go to your bar to bail your ass out of the shit, I don't want to be dealing with your fucked up well. So we're gonna have it to where if I jump on any bar and any day, the well's going to be exactly the same. And everybody hated it and bitched and complained and tried to do it their way. But after a month or two, things went great. They all got used to the new well, and everybody was able to jump back and forth and made life easier for me.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I always had like a theory about bartending, essentially. Like, it's not a hard job, but it's difficult to do it well, right? So like, I always like preached economy of movement. You're making drinks for the entire bar. You need to be doing multiple drinks at once, and you need to be doing it in the right order. If you've got a beer that can be poured over here, you wait on that, and you can make your 3 mixed drinks, then you go to your beer. If you're down on this side of the well and somebody orders a Guinness and the Guinness is right there, you pour that, and then you start making other drinks while it's doing the half pour. Like, there's ways that you can move that make the job much easier. If you're just running around back and forth like a chicken with your head cut off, everybody's suffering, like nobody's having fun. And like, the coolest part to me about like the way I bartended is that it was impressive. Like, I did a job that 2 people could not do for the most part. Like, I worked the front bar by myself on Saturdays and Sundays, which nobody else in that bar could do. And most of the time, 2 people would struggle. So like, I would get tips sometimes from people that I didn't even talk to. Maybe I poured them a couple beers, but I'm so fucking busy that I'm moving like crazy. And every movement that I make is deliberate. I'm not fucking running around. Oh yeah, I got to go back over here. And like, I'm doing things the way they should be done. I had a system where I would start a Guinness, and a Guinness takes a while to pour. So I'd start the Guinness, I'd run over to the other side of the bar, make 2 or 3 mixed drinks, not looking at it because I know the timing in my head. And then as soon as that Guinness is done, I drop all that shit and I'm back. You got your beer. And people would tip me. They'd be like, dude, it was just impressive to watch for an hour. You know, like, to watch you do that it's just impressive. Here's a 20, like, great job. And I never said anything to them like, hey, how you doing? What can I get you? That's it. That's all I had to do. And like, some bartenders understood that and others didn't. And like, I worked with this one girl when I would do double shifts on Saturdays. Sometimes we'd have the double, like a mid shift come in on Saturdays. And she was a badass. She was not hot, but she was kind of sexy, if that makes sense. Right? Like, she was smart, and like, she dressed sexy, she acted sexy. She wasn't super hot. She was like maybe a 7, but like, the sexiness factor brought it up, and she got it. Like, she got the whole thing. Like, we're here to make money. We're here to like do a good job, but like, essentially we're here to make money. And like, one of the things that we did that I really enjoyed, and it was her idea to do. She's like, hey, stop going back to get the ice. You're working the well. I'm working the front. You need to be up here, like, on it all the time. If you need ice, go tell me to do it. Like, I'm your bitch and I need to get back into the kitchen. And I'll, yes, sir. And the customers loved that. I'd be like, hey, woman, I need some ice. And she'd be back there and she'd grab a fucking 4 bar, because she was a badass. She'd grab 4 things of ice and come out there. And people liked that. It was a show. It was fun. Like, we both were like into it. I had another chick that I worked with that I didn't enjoy working with as much. She was a great bartender, but she always wanted to work the well, which is not like, you don't have the female work the well. You have the female work the bar top, the people that are sitting there. Like, that's who they want to talk to. They don't really want to talk to me. They want to watch me be a badass. And she just never got it. And she was always battling with me over who got to work the well. And it just, we never made as much money.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've always thought about, I think bartending would be kind of a good, really good, you know, like second job, part-time job, whatever.
It's a great gig.
But I've never got into it or tried to or anything. It's something that I would want to, like, you know, get in somewhere and like get some experience and stuff. Cause
yeah, it's unfortunate that I can't really teach you.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the thing is like, people don't know how to make drinks, and they're worried like, oh, I'm not going to be able to make the drinks. Like, that stuff comes with experience. And a lot of times, like, people would come to me and they'd be like, I want to Incredible Hulk fucker. And I'm like, I have no fucking clue what that is. And they have no clue what that is. I don't have time to look it up. So I'd ask them, what's it taste like and what color is it? And I could basically make it based off of that because you kind of get like what mixes with what and what makes certain flavors and type of things. And like, you know, you get your pours down. You really got to get your pours down and learn how to pour right. Like people are always trying to grab the bottle like this and pour like that, which doesn't work. You grab the bottle upside down and you pour, and then you can bump stop it and keep going. So if you bump a bottle while you're pouring, it'll actually stop the flow so you can go to another glass. Pretty cool shit. It takes some time. Like I honestly, if I'm running a bar, I would rather hire you as a bartender than a bartender with 2 or 3 years experience. Because that bartender with 2 or 3 years of experience, I'm going to be working my ass off to break bad habits. Like there's just so many bad habits that people develop, you know, working under bartenders that don't know what they're doing or bars that don't know what they're doing. And like breaking bad habits is a whole lot harder to do than to teach somebody to do the job. One of the things that annoyed me worst about working there is we never hired from within. We never promoted people. Like we were always hiring new bartenders and bringing them in instead of promoting the waitresses. But we were always having problems with shit. And like, we couldn't keep enough good waitresses so we couldn't lose our good waitresses to behind the bar. And it was just a nightmare. And I always just complained about fucking give me one of these waitresses. I can make her a great bartender in 2 weeks. No problem. Give me 4 shifts, you know, 2 in each bar, and she'll be a great fucking bartender. You just need a little bit of time. And like, once you get the movements down and you get the pours down, it gets really easy. And like, especially for people who want to work. Like that's the hardest part about bartenders. It's like people like you, like, oh, it's a cool job. It'd be a great job to like kind of have a secondary, you know, source of income. What they don't realize is like 80% of the job is prep and cleanup. So you're doing dishes, you're fucking mopping floors. Like it's a lot of, you know, busy work, dirty work that people just really don't want to do, especially the women.
Yeah, and I mean, this day and age, dude, it's a nightmare. I can't, like, we're relatively small out here, but dude, we can't find like anybody to work. Honestly, like in any department, it's rough.
Yeah.
And then like what you said with breaking bad habits and stuff like that, you know, hiring somebody fresh that you can train. Like,
I'm sure you deal with the same thing.
Oh yeah. The worst, man, is people fresh out of MMI, and then they come in, and then like you said, you gotta try to break bad habits that were driven into their heads by this school that is ultimately kind of a scam. Like you can get out of it what you put into it if you pay attention, but most guys go through it and they just fucking cheat through it and skate through it and come out and think they're gonna, you know, be a hot shot.
Line school is the same exact way. They teach you all of this safety that you have to do, right? And so like we had to climb with a buck strap at line school, which is essentially like a belt that it's a fall arrest device. So you can't fall off the pole. If you fall, it just clamps in and holds you to the pole. And like one of my teachers at one point, he was like, yeah, you guys should probably learn how to free climb. And I'm like, well, you guys won't let us free climb. Like, how are we supposed to? And he's like, well, you can kind of loosen your belt up and do it this way, but I'd find a practice pole somewhere. And I never did that. And like the first day that I got onto the job, we're doing this cutover where we had to climb like 40 poles, and like half the poles had risers on them, which is like, you know, piping and wiring going up the side of the pole. So I get out there, like get my buck strap out, and the lineman I'm working with, he's like, what the fuck are you going to do with that? It's like, look at that pole. You think you're going to get up that pole with that thing on? And I was like, well, I guess I'm going to learn how to free climb today. And like, that's dangerous. That's the dangerous part. Like going into that job, I fell in the first week free climbing. And like, that's fucking dangerous. You know, like some kid just died at Northwest Line College this year, you know, and it wasn't from a fall, it was from a pole breaking, but like, the job's dangerous. Like you gotta prepare these fucking kids. Line school's a scam too. Like you have to do it in order to get a job now, but you'd be much better off just working as a groundman for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, speaking of second jobs, the old the ex-president got himself a little gig at McDonald's this week. And the big news is, oh, it's staged. It's staged. I've got a great meme of the way they thought it was going to go down that I'll play for us here real quick. Oops. Such a great meme. He's so memeable. Like,
Yeah.
you can just meme him like he's the most memeable person to ever exist. Like, there's so many great memes out there. Like, oh man, I'm gonna scroll through them. I sent them to you in the email, so you've seen them. But I'll show them here. Here's my favorite: him holding up the McDonald's bag after getting shot.
Yeah.
And then we've got Chuck Schumer grilling a raw burger with a piece of cheese on it. That's not staged, but you know, the Trump thing is here's the stupid kid on The Simpsons eating glue. Trump doesn't actually work at McDonald's. It was staged. Yeah, no shit. And then we've just got all these staged pictures of Democrats. Kamala, you know, with her headphones in, not connected to her phone. We've got the fake White House with the press standing back, making it look real. We've got AOC crying at the border when she couldn't see anything from where she was. And of course, we have Kamala grilling burgers, which she's never done a day in her life.
Did you see the Trump McDonald's one where it was just him in front of the ice cream machine and it said ice cream machine is finally fixed?
No, I didn't see that one. That's good.
Yeah.
There's so many great memes. You know what I've noticed in the past couple weeks is like there's literally like zero positive memes about Kamala. Just none. Like the only memes you see about her are just making her look like an idiot. Same with Tim Walz. Did you see him trying to shoot a shotgun the other day?
I saw
It was beautiful.
I saw him trying to reload.
It was beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. They did another one. I don't remember exactly what it was, but man, have you heard the I guess we could call it a conspiracy at this point about him?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so the story is that he's a pedophile. He fucks his students, and he took one of them to like a lesbian concert and then blew him in the bathroom or some shit like that while his wife was with another student.
Oh wow.
Oh wow, it's right, right? That's kind of weird. And yeah, it's I don't know. I didn't really bring anything from the show to the show about it because like we could read the accusation, I guess is what you would call it, but essentially like I kind of just gave it right there. I don't know, like I thought this might have been an October surprise, but it doesn't seem like Trump has picked it up or any of the like mainstream Republicans have really picked it up at this point. I'm still like wondering what our October surprise is going to be. I mean, it's like every day is an October surprise essentially at this point.
Yeah, it's dude. Yeah, the level of insanity, and it's crazy, man. And I'm like, was there any actual evidence or anything for the Walls?
He got fired. He got fired. He did not quit his job. He was fired. And the school board like did a whole meeting about this. So like there is actual evidence that this could have happened for sure. Like I would put this personally, I give it 80% credibility based on the way he was fired.
Yeah.
If that hadn't happened, I would say who knows really. Like there's so much, they throw so much shit at the board that it's hard to really tell. And like the person who is leaking the story, I guess you would say, on X is somebody I've never heard of. It's kind of weird that like some random guy got the story and it didn't go to like, I don't know, Glenn Greenwald or Matt Taibbi or any of that kind of crew that has been, it's weird. It's fucking weird. The guy's weird. There's a lot of weird shit about him. Like he looks and carries himself like a gay guy. Like the way he walks, the way he kind of waves. There's some great pictures that like comparing him to Mr. Garrison post transition.
Yeah, right, dude. The guy is fucking weird. Just from the little bit of stuff I've seen of him, yeah, it's definitely weird vibes.
So like when I see that, I go, okay, if this is true, and like I said, I give it 80% credibility at this point, the the Dems knew about it. They absolutely knew about it. So why would you pick this guy if he's got clear baggage like this? And the only explanation I can come up with is, hey Tim, what's that in your mouth? Like that's like I guess he's controlled. I mean, clearly he's controlled, but like if that is true, why the fuck would you run him when there was other people that you could pick? Like I really don't get it. Most of the time I can kind of point to something, but like this time it's he's either controlled or they didn't know about it, which is just seems crazy to me. Like they know everything.
Yeah, even just the fact that they put Kamala up is kind of you know, ridiculous and is hard to put any kind of rhyme or reason to. And then you gotta, I've been wondering for a while, just with the moves and everything that's been happening on the Kamala side of stuff is, and I've heard it a couple different places, but it really seems like they are not, they're intentionally trying to lose.
That's and remember that's been my theory. And that's been my theory from the beginning. Is this is a throwaway for them. They want Trump in so they can destroy everything around him and teach us, the populist voting bloc of America, a lesson for putting an outsider in. This is why we have to have the adults in the room. You know, like I really think it's not so much about destroying him as it is teaching us a lesson. Like you listen to us, we're in charge. This is how we fucking play. And look at what happens when he's in office. You know, they could start a massive war. They could do some false flag attacks here on the home ground. Like there's so many fucking things they could do to just completely destroy his next term so easily too. Like it would be so easy for them to do because they control everything. And if he's like, I'm still not convinced he is like prepared to do what needs to be done. Essentially, like I was talking to this guy the other day and I was relating it to my hand. Like at some point they had to cut the hand off. Otherwise the necrosis was just going to keep spreading. Right. And like, I don't know if he's got the balls to chop the hand or the smarts, because you have to get it into an area, you know, like you have to realize where to cut. Not, you can't just go in and start cutting and throwing people out and fire. Like, great, fire as many people as you want. Like, I hope he fires a ton of people. But if you don't get RFK in there, if you don't get Elon, if he's just blowing smoke to get votes with those two guys and he doesn't give, like, if he gives RFK a bunch of power to just destroy everything, then, like, yeah, we could see some actual change and maybe the establishment would have a hard time fighting back. But, like, dude, it's like three guys versus the establishment. This is the biggest, most powerful government in the history of the world. You know what's interesting to me, and this is, I don't have it up in front of me, but I was just thinking about this the other day. And I asked ChatGPT, how many people in history have died in war? And it gave me a number, a big number, like fucking billions of people. I might be able to look it up during, oh no, I can't. Anyways. Now I forgot what I was saying.
How many people have died in war?
Yeah, I don't remember. I fucking lost it. I did the Trump weave and I didn't weave back. I don't know. It'll come to me.
Then you gotta. So I think okay, well, it appears that they're trying to throw this, and then you're like, okay, so if they want Trump in, you know, like you were saying, okay, so they gotta have some kind of game plan to just like fuck his world up. The shit that they've pulled, you know, since his first election has been insane. Literally, like,
the fuckery laws, is right? Off the scale. Yeah, it's like off the scale fuckery.
Insane right now. One thought I just had, and I heard something about it. It's the whole, you know, like 9/11, how, you know, it brings the country together. You know, everybody was like, we were all Americans. It wasn't like you're Democrat or Republican. So you know, I would definitely say we are primed and ready for some kind of event.
Yeah,
Either it's some catastrophic thing that's gonna force everybody to come together again, or it's gonna be
which
a
is
catastrophic
dangerous.
event that you know, severely pushes party lines
Yeah.
and beliefs and stuff, and
Dude,
then you know,
the
so
world should be
CW.
terrified. The world should be terrified of Americans coming together. The last time we came together, we killed 1 million Iraqis, most of them children. So, yeah, the rest of the world should be fucking terrified if we come together over something because they're fucked at that point.
Mhm.
So just to kind of prove my point that like I think she's unelectable. I really think that she is unelectable. I don't care how much they cheat. I don't think they're willing to burn their methods the way they did last time because they would have to cheat a lot to get her in. But just to prove how unelectable she is, here's a couple videos. So these people are screaming Jesus is Lord during her rally. Oh,
But while Kamala says that people who believe in Jesus don't belong to her rallies, in our movement, we love Christians, we welcome believers, and we embrace followers of Jesus.
what an easy layup for him. I mean,
Yeah.
how bad do you have to be to to do that? What she just did, that is so disgusting. Like you got to go, hey, look, I'm a Christian, you're a Christian, we all love God, but you know, there's certain times in life when we have to seek God's, you know, forgiveness and blah, you know, there could have been something there as an olive branch. Hey, look, I see what you're, you know, that you believe in this strongly, and I understand that, and I empathize with you. That's why we're going to do A, B, and C to make it more fair across the board. Like, you don't have to say anything. Like what I just did there, I didn't say anything. And that's her go-to. She doesn't say a goddamn thing ever. She just, you know, rambles.
Dude, it's
Do
brutal
that.
listening to her.
Do that, right? Like, oh my God, to just, and then to make it even worse, here she is on an interview.
Concessions would be on the table. Religious exemptions, for example, is that something that you would consider?
I don't think we should be making concessions when we're talking about a fundamental freedom to make decisions about your own body.
To Republicans like, for example, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, who would back something like this on a Democratic agenda if, in fact, Republicans control Congress, would you offer them an olive branch, or is that off the table? Is that not an option for you?
I'm not going to engage in hypotheticals.
Oh, I'm not going to engage in hypotheticals. What a cunt. Can you imagine, like, you're some country doctor that, like, doesn't perform abortions and some woman just comes in and says, abort my baby. And he's like, no, I'm not doing that. And the government's like, oh, yes, you are. At gunpoint, you're going to kill that fucking baby. You better believe you're going to kill that baby. So this is kind of a, I know we haven't discussed abortion much on this show. I think we did have one discussion about it early on, and I think we're on a little bit different pages. Have you changed your position on abortion at all over the last couple of years, or where are you at with this?
If I remember correctly, of the conversation that we had.
I think you were more pro-choice than me.
I mean, I would say that to a degree, yeah, but I think I would, like, you know, phrase it a little bit differently. I wouldn't say pro-choice so much. I feel like that's one of those things where when you give you know, the government or anybody the authority to tell you what you can and can't do, you know, it's like where's the lines and where does it end, kind of a thing. It's dude, the topic is a tough
I
one,
could
for
see
sure.
that. It's tough for sure, especially for men, because we don't really confront this all that often.
Yeah, and then there's that. Like you know, I kind of have I'm a little bit of the opinion. You know, it's like I'm not a man. That's something that should just be privately discussed with, you know, between a man and his female partner, because they're the only two together that can create a human, right? So that and then I just lean more towards the actual freedom aspect of it, of not being you know, controlled by a governing body But then
So,
if you take into
what,
account the life and stuff like that, it gets really gets really complicated.
it's messy. It's messy. And see, like I fall on a different page than you. Like I think it's murder. If you're like I have no problem with plan B. I think plan B is fine. Like nothing is happening in there that plan B is gonna fuck with. Like at that point, you don't even really have conception. And
Yeah.
I think that like my ex-wife took plan B a few times when we had some accidents, and like I don't have a problem with that at all. You're being responsible at that point. I think that as a woman, if you're going to go out and have unprotected sex and you're just going to, lackadaisically continue with your life until you realize that you're fat, I think that's completely irresponsible and you have no right to kill that baby. Like I look at it as like I'm a libertarian. I believe in bodily autonomy. And bodily autonomy extends to a fetus. And I think that is something that, so like, I understand your position on, not wanting the government to control your body, but the government it can be right like a broken clock twice a day. You know what I mean? Like murder is wrong no matter how you parse it out. And the government falls on the good side of that every once in a while, at least. So I think a lot of it is a lot of hedonism. Like I think a lot of these people who are pro-abortion, pro-life are just hedonistic and they want to be sexually promiscuous and just do their thing and not care about it and not confront it. The fact that she does not recognize that someone like me believes that she is advocating for murder.
Mm-hmm.
And just to treat these people like me, like these doctors, like we're disgusting pieces of dirt that should be scraped off the bottom of her shoe. It's just disgusting to me. Like, even if you are pro-life, like you have to be able to meet these people where they are. You can't just say you're at the wrong rally. Like, you're trying to get votes here, lady. Like, that is not how you do it.
Yeah. And on still on the abortion note, like you were saying, there's okay, it's hard. It's a hard topic for sure. And then if you want to like sit down and have like a in-depth scientific more conversation, like when I'd say like when there's a heartbeat, then that's probably, I would consider that a living thing. Past that,
see, I would say conception. That's before the heart's even developed.
For sure. But then that's when you get into all those fine points and stuff like that, I think. And then I have a very like negative opinion of birth control. The fact that women are putting these insane chemicals to fuck with their hormones and fuck with their natural body cycles is terrible.
But also, condoms really suck.
Yeah. So and then you get into okay, well, if we want some middle ground, then there needs to be cheap or free, easy access to that kind of healthcare. To
Plan B for everyone. They hand out. They try to give me what's that stuff called that you put up your nose when you're fucked up on heroin? You know what I'm talking about? Narcan. They fucking force Narcan on me all the time. Like, I swear to God, at least every couple months I go to the pharmacy and they're like, oh, you need some new Narcan. I'm like, I take fucking 40 milligrams a day. Like, what do you think is going to happen to me? It's so stupid. But they force it on me. Like, why is it hard? Plan B, hello. Could be the same deal. Like, the way I kind of look at it is, and then we'll move on from here, is like, imagine you, like I'm describing these heathens. So imagine you're living in a flop house. Me and you have both lived in flop houses before. People come and go, they're doing drugs. And one day you wake up and you decide, you know what? I don't want these people in my house anymore. They're making a mess. They're screwing up my lifestyle. Like, it's costing me money. It's destroying my property and my health. I want them to leave. You can call the cops and they can come and escort them out. That's fine. What you cannot do is murder them for not leaving.
Yes.
And that's kind of the way I fall on it. And on that, I'm gonna play us one more video just to prove that she's unelectable, and then we're gonna move on. Here we go. So this is great. Oops, did it again. So they're showing a Harris camp over at like a school, and then they pan over to Trump, and it's packed. Nobody's at the Harris counter. It's fucking packed for Trump. She's the Bud Light candidate. It's like the Bud Light tent at Sturgis. She's the Bud Light candidate. Oh man, I love to see that. And so what? It's Georgia. So what? I don't fucking care. The fact that it's happening anywhere is awesome because every fucking college is liberal, no matter where you go. In Idaho, my college was liberal as fuck. I would not imagine that happening at my college 2 years ago. Maybe today. But, and on that, we're going to move on to the fuck the police segment of the show. I was trying to name it something else, but I think we're just going to call it fuck the police. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to show here. So Poly Market is showing, which is a betting market. They're showing Trump at 63, Harris at 36. That's bad. That's bad. I hope he just destroys her. So this is a fun story I saw today. I came across it on Twitter and I searched it out on YouTube to find it. And it's an old video. This happened like a year ago, but I think it's so prescient and like really important to watch because it just shows how like double-sided the government is. So here we go. We're going to start out. This fucking senator, a U.S. senator, keys this guy's car because he had a Biden sucks sticker on the back of it.
Appeared to be keys in the gentleman's hand, and you looked over and saw a long scratch on his vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just fresh. It literally just happened too.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
little scratches, but that's a new one.
Well, it kind of looked like he tried to extend it
No,
a
that
little
one's
bit.
here.
No,
That was there?
one. This is the
That
fresh
one.
one right here. Right down here. This one.
Yeah.
So they were sitting in the car and he pulls in next to them,
Okay.
sees their sticker, gets out and keys her car. Very nice. That's exactly what we're electing you to office to do. Now, I was going to ask you a question, and I was going to ask how you think this was going to turn out, but you know how it's going to turn out, so let's continue. Here he is. This is Senator Miller.
All right, listen.
From where?
I have to detain you for right now.
Rhode Island.
Investigating a crime, okay?
Okay.
All right.
If it's a maniac who yelled at
The maniac who yelled at me?
They weren't in the car next to you. There was no one in the car.
Yeah.
There was no one in the car.
He was blocking my way.
Oh.
Saying I scratched his car. I didn't scratch his car.
Blocking his way.
Senator, I think he recognized me.
Oh, of course he recognized him. He's a gun nut.
He called out my name. I never told him my name.
All right. He didn't say any of that, okay?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
definitely didn't recognize you. I know he didn't say that.
Yeah.
Everybody knows me. I'm a senator. Why are you even talking to me?
All right, and that's what we're investigating right now.
Okay.
And seeing, he pretty much heard it and saw you.
Yeah.
And you had keys in your hand as well.
That's because I just came out of my car.
Well, that would make sense,
Yeah.
but the way that he explained it
Yeah.
seemed much,
Yeah.
a little bit more in depth than that, okay?
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
He can hear it, like fresh. It was,
Yeah.
He can hear the scratching, and he approached you and asked you. You kind
Yeah.
of just
And I
walked
said
away
no
and kind of just
because
blew
he
him
called
off.
out my name.
Who called out my
He
name?
called out your name, but
Called out my name, and I was worried that he was one of the gun nuts who stalks me at the State House. So I kept
I
walking.
keyed his car in
well,
self-defense.
I don't
Yeah.
think he was that. He seemed a little young.
Unbelievable, right?
That's neither here
So
Yeah.
nor there, okay? Just for right now, just hang out a little bit,
Okay.
all right? I have
Just
some
hang
friends
out.
who are coming out here.
just hang out. Do you think if
I was scared.
I was scared? He was scared. So he keyed the car. He was scared.
And I went over to Starbucks, had a drink, calmed down.
Calm down. Why did you need to calm down?
And then I walked over.
You were scared,
Whole Foods to get what I needed.
not mad.
And then I came back.
You walked all the way to Whole Foods?
triggered.
Because I was afraid to come back.
He was afraid to go back
Why didn't you call us?
It's a good question. I should have.
because you're fucking guilty. You just keyed their car. That's why you didn't fucking call. Can you imagine the fucking balls on this guy? He pulls in next to them, gets out, keys their car, and then says they knew who I was. It's like, dude, how do they know who you were? You pulled in right next to him. Like it makes no sense whatsoever. None. You got anything?
Have you seen the? I saw a great video on YouTube. It was a dude driving, and he had a female in the vehicle with him. For some reason, they were recording, but he was. This tells you everything you need to know about him. He was driving in the vehicle wearing a mask, and then pulls up.
I yell at those people now. I yell at them and I give them the finger.
Nice. But pulls up somebody like neighbor, whatever, a house nearby, whatever, has a really small like Trump sign planted in their yard, like right off the side of the road. And dude like stops, whatever, runs over the sign, and then keeps going. And then all of a sudden his tires like funk 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 funk. And they had put like a 2x4 with a bunch of nails sticking through it. I don't know where, it didn't show, but because it cracked me up. And then he gets out, gets all pissed, and calls the person whose property he destroyed an asshole.
Oh yeah, of course. It's fucking unreal. What do you think would happen if the roles were reversed here? If some gun nut keyed a senator's car, do you think he'd just be hanging out and waiting for somebody to come and identify him, or would he be in cuffs in the back of a cop car? I think it'd be the latter. Let's continue.
Colonel Winquist knows that.
Yeah, call the colonel. He knows me. Call your boss.
The sponsor of assault weapons legislation. Okay.
I'm a sponsor of assault weapons ban, so they hate me. Yeah, we do, because you're a fucking piece of shit.
I got the stickers on the back of my car. I thought he said, "Hey Miller, you can key my car."
How did he see the sticker on the back of your car?
He was one of these guys.
He pulled in.
Right? That stalked me.
He's a stalker. Go arrest him.
I have no problem with what you did. Like after,
I have no problem with what you did after that.
Just so we can, again, do our due diligence.
Because some of these guys are armed, so I'm really concerned.
I trust me. I completely understand your.
Oh, I'm completely understand. People have guns in this country, and that's terrible.
Just so we can, like I said, so we can thoroughly investigate.
Yeah, we'd hassle the shit out of him if he had a gun. So now they're going to sit here and look at his keys for the next 5 minutes while he just stands there and waits. It's so fucking annoying to me because that guy should be in fucking handcuffs right now. Well, he shouldn't be in handcuffs. Like, this is kind of a civil offense. But if the roles were reversed, if this was not a senator, he would be in handcuffs. Like, I don't think anybody should be put in handcuffs for something like that. Like, it's a civil matter. As long as you can get it on paper and go to the judge and get your money's worth out of it, then fine, whatever. If he has to pay a fine, good. Like, there's no reason to take somebody to jail for something like this. But they do it every fucking day. They hassle people for shit like this all the time. They have no problem throwing people in jail when they're not senators.
Yeah. Well, apparently they do what in California? What can you steal up to now? Like $900, and they're not gonna do shit.
Oh yeah, it's fucking wild. I was watching a video the other day where some guy got busted stealing in California, and he was complaining. He's like, "What? Everybody else does it. I get busted." It's like, dude, what a how far have we fallen as a country when that's your reaction to being caught stealing? Like, everybody else does it. Why can't I? What's the problem with me doing it? You don't bust my buddy. Just did it yesterday. You didn't bust him.
Yeah.
My God. Have you ever heard of broken window policing?
No.
Something Rudy Giuliani came up with, or that he used while he was in the mayor of New York City, and essentially it was like, if you let broken windows go, everything else goes to shit. It's like a slippery slope argument. Like, if you just let somebody break a window and walk off, what are they going to do next? Are they going to punch a woman in the face? Are they going to rape somebody in the subway? Are they going to stab somebody while they're walking home at night? If there is no fear of God in the criminals in your city, you're fucked. You got to put the fear of God in these people, and that's what he did. And he turned that city around, broken window policing. I'm not a Rudy Giuliani fan. I think he's a piece of shit. But he did good things while he was the mayor of that city, especially compared to who we've got in now. I mean, these people are so fucking corrupt. Trump did that roast show the other day, and he was like, "All right, I was going to stay for a couple extra minutes, but Eric Adams told me he needs the room for a bunch of illegal immigrants to sleep in tonight, so we got to take off." Even Brian Stelter said that was funny. All right, let's continue. Let's hear the explanation for these gun-toting stalkers.
I know it's definitely him. I know he wasn't wearing like a blue shirt or like a dark shirt. It had to have been tannish, but he must. I think he may have taken off the blazer because I definitely had one on.
So he took his shirt off and put it in his bag,
100%.
so he wouldn't get caught.
You're sure that you don't recognize him from anywhere?
I've never seen him in my life. I didn't even know this guy existed.
You sure you don't recognize him from anywhere? Do you follow politics?
I don't even know any of the senators, to be honest. I only know the mayor.
You only know the mayor?
Pretty much. I'm not a big.
Yeah.
So.
All right. No, I just want to make sure. And are you sure that the scratch wasn't there before you?
Sure you're not a liar?
Sure that scratch is not there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know that scratch wasn't there.
All right.
So.
Just checking.
Just
and
checking.
trying to see if maybe.
Oh, he's doing his job. He's just doing your job. This is so disgusting.
The scratch definitely wasn't there. All right. Well, that's all we need to know for right now. Okay. We're gonna check out the cameras and stuff because this place has.
Because we don't believe you.
And then after that, if we see fit, then we're gonna go from there. All right, and then we'll notify you. Okay, guys.
Ugh, and thank you, and he shakes his hand. These fucking guys, this is so sad to me. Because right now, those two guys think that the cops are there to help them. We're here to take your statement to help you. No, that was not the point of that conversation at all. The point of that conversation was to try to catch those guys slipping and to find out that they actually did know who he was because they wanted to charge them with something. They wanted to sweep this under the rug, get out of here. You're liars. You're a gun nut. You actually do know who that guy is. You lied to me. That was the point of that conversation, and they fucking thanked him and shook his hand for it. God, that makes me sick.
Yeah.
The last time I got a ticket, I accidentally, the cop was as he was leaving, I was like, all right, thank you. And I went, actually, no, not thank you. Fuck off. I just, it took a second for me to realize that I said thank you. And I was just like, fuck, I can't leave it like that. I can't. This guy's fucking screwing me over. He's costing me thousands of dollars for no fucking reason at all. I had a expired license, and he wanted to search my car and tow it because I have a record and they think they can get me on something. Turns out, lucky me, I did not stop on the road. I stopped in a public parking lot or private parking lot. And there was nobody there to ask if they wanted me trespassed. So I got to keep my car there, and that guy got to do the walk of shame and not search it. He wouldn't have found anything, but I just wasn't going to give him,
Yeah. Dude,
I just wasn't going to let him do that.
That's like one of the best joys in life when you get you have an interaction with police or something like that, and you actually don't have anything to hide in your car. And I'm all for not letting them search if it's not actually warranted or whatever, but that's the best feeling in the world when you know your car is clean. So one time I got pulled over by this cop. His name was Campbell. He was the guy that did the hazing thing. Nobody else was into the hazing thing except for him. So he had a hard on for me since I was 14 because he started dealing with us with dirt bike shit. And he pulled me over one time. I had 3 80s, Oxy 80s in my pocket, and I fucking gutted him as soon as I got pulled over because I knew he was going to search me, and because he's a piece of shit, and I was on probation, so he could. And so I actually had some other shit in my truck, but I had a system where I kept the whole back seat of my truck full of garbage, and I kept the drugs hidden in garbage. So they would have had to undo every bag and dump it all. So anyways, he gets me out of the car. He calls for backup. He puts me through fields, which I did for some stupid fucking reason. I shouldn't have done them, but I did them. And he was trying to take me to jail, and the other cop was like, dude, he passed. I don't know what you want me to say. He passed the tests. I was watching. I nailed the 30-second foot up on the fucking dot, 30 seconds. And I was like, did I get it? And he was like, oh, you did okay. I'm like, show me the clock. And he finally showed me the clock, and it was 30.35 or something like that. I'm like, you're a fucking piece of shit. But right then I don't remember anything after that. I woke up in my truck 3 days later. I was sleeping in front of Greg Shaw's house in his driveway in my pickup at 4 in the morning. No idea what happened in between then.
Good times. Good times. Let's continue with this piece of shit.
You're facing, you're being investigated for offending at this point. So, but like I said, we're not taking action now until we.
We're not taking action now until we confirm.
You want my phone number?
You want my phone number? Sure, here's my card.
Here, I'll get my card out of it.
Yeah, I'll get you my card.
Your cell's on here.
Your cell's on there as well?
Yeah.
All
See?
right.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
Winkus knows that I have.
Yeah, call your boss. He knows. He knows I'm right.
Okay. That's fine. Yep. Like I said, we're not taking any action right now. We're just,
but
we
just
have our.
let him know that
Yes,
it
we
was
will.
me, and
Absolutely.
that was my reaction.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, sir, you have a good rest of your day.
Have a good rest of your day. Yeah. I'd have got my ass kicked for that. God, could you imagine if some piece of shit like me or you keyed a senator's car? They would beat the hell out of us. They would throw the book at us. Just anything they possibly could. Stop resisting would be the first thing we heard. You know? And then you're on the ground getting kicked and fucking pummeled. Stop, give me your arms, as they've got a fucking knee on your back and your arms are fucking stuck under you. You can't move because there's 300 pounds of pig on top of you. I can't. Move it, give me your fucking arms, I'm gonna tase you. I had 6 cops tase me and beat the shit out of me in my living room.
Damn.
But this guy gets to walk off with a handshake and a nice day. Yeah, you know, it's all good. You destroyed somebody's vehicle. No big deal. I had a fucking couple grams of pot in my house, and my wife was the piece of shit. I got arrested. When I got arrested, they arrested me. I let him in because the guy had his foot in my door, and there was just no way he was going to leave. So I let him in. Considering I knew I had the marijuana in here, but like being from California, I was like, all right, they're not going to worry about it. They're here for the other reason, and they'll just fucking go. So we get done with the search, and they're like, let's talk about the elephant in the room. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, the marijuana. I was like, all right, I am now revoking consent. You guys need to leave. Stop resisting. What actually happened is one guy pulled the cuffs out, and I was like, what are you going to do with those? And I stood up. I had already stood up, I think, to tell him to leave. And my reasoning was, how are you going to cuff me? I have one hand. And as soon as I said that, they said, stop resisting, and they beat the fucking shit out of me. You know, but this guy gets to go home and have dinner. Nice, great for him. You know, when you're part of the gang, you're part of the gang. You know, the blue line extends to the senator house, right?
Yeah.
You're all cops. Now, surprisingly, they showed up at his house. Let's see how this goes.
It occurred in Garden City.
Yeah.
So we have a complainant who wants to pursue charges against you.
Okay.
So we've got to do our due diligence. You know, they spoke with you earlier tonight.
Yeah.
We did go back to Garden City. We've got the video of you walking through Garden City, putting your coat over your shoulder, going to Whole Foods, buying your lettuce, putting it in the bag,
I
coming
was
back.
afraid to come back to the car because he said, hey, Miller.
I was afraid, so I keyed his car.
So we got your video. So you tell us how you want to handle this.
You tell us how you want to handle this. The statement of the year. You tell us how you want to handle this. Oh my God. Hey, cops, I want you out of my house because my wife is a drunk. She's in a hotel and she won't answer her phone. Nope, sorry, we're going to beat the hell out of you, throw you in jail. By the time I got to jail, she was already in the process of bailing me out. They didn't even try to find her before they came over here. They didn't try to find her when they had me in the back of the cop car, beating the shit out of me, asking me where I buried her. They waited until they got me into jail. Then they found her. Oh, because the goal is not really to check on her welfare. The goal is to arrest somebody. That's the goal. Like, we're going to arrest somebody. We're at a welfare check. This guy's weird. It was at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was on fentanyl. Like, what do you want from me? I had just had my fucking hand cut off. And I got a couple grams of marijuana in the house. I paid thousands of dollars for a lawyer. The charges all got dropped except for a paraphernalia charge. My lawyer told me I had no grounds to stand on for excessive force. Never suggested that I go to a civil rights attorney. I've talked to a civil rights attorney since then, and I just have asked, like, hey, what would this go down? He's like, oh, yeah. There's this thing called Graham factors. So it's Graham versus the United States, where you have to like show that the officers are actually in danger before you can beat the shit out of somebody and tase them. 6 of them surrounding me in my living room would not have met those Graham factors. They would have lost their qualified immunity and I would have got a 6-figure settlement. But I didn't know. All the lawyer wanted was for me to plead down so she could make a couple $1,000 quick and easy. That's it. That's the game.
There's absolutely nothing you can do like now.
Nothing. Nope. It's been too long. You know, I have another charge on me for growing weed in my backyard. The cops came during COVID, raided my house, pulled the plants, didn't take me to jail, and they ended up like they charged me, but they just didn't do anything on it. But felonies in Idaho are, there is no, you know, what's that called? There's no time. They can charge me whenever they want. They can charge me 10 years from now for that same thing. Maybe I don't even smoke weed anymore. They could still charge me for it, but I can't do anything about those cops beating the shit out of me. Nothing.
Wow.
Something, right?
Justice.
The Justice Department, right? Let's continue. I backed it up a little bit because we got to hear that again.
Handle this.
Sorry.
Yeah. So we got you over here. So you tell us how you want to handle this. Yakita's car.
Yeah. He said, yeah.
Either make a big deal out of this or a little deal. So.
Okay. Whatever you recommend.
Well, I want to know what you recommend.
I want to know what you recommend. You're my boss.
Covering up something for a senator.
Sure, neither do I.
So I think it's best that we all be up front with each other and do the right thing here.
Yeah, I want to because you know it's before he even got to me, right? He was saying, "Hey Miller, what are you going to do?" Right?
Yeah, so I'm going to be right up front with you. He saw your sticker on your truck.
Yeah.
And he ran it and he saw your picture and he said, "That's the guy."
The guy has his name on the back of his truck.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you know the guy? Why would you key his car?
I didn't listen.
I didn't, he said.
He was threatening me already.
He was threatening me already.
He was threatening me already. Whatever you want me to do to make it, easiest for you guys and everything.
So we're gonna probably go back and get an arrest warrant, right?
Yeah.
But it's you rather than do that, you can either come to the police station, we can charge you there.
Yeah.
This guy wants to pursue charges. He's upset that his car's well keyed.
By a fucking senator who's supposed to be representing you.
Yeah.
Why did you key? Do you know that? Did he threaten you?
He was already threatening me.
Okay.
Why did you key? Because he was already threatening me. He must have been really scared. Remember how scared he was back in the parking lot? I was scared. I didn't go back. He was threatening me, so I keyed his car.
Yeah.
All right. So what did he? So do you want to give a statement? What did he threaten? How did he threaten you? Because we can't hear.
He didn't.
See.
The fact that they're even entertaining the idea that he threatened him is ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. If you got out of your car and somebody was threatening you, the last fucking thing you would do as a 70-year-old man, this guy's maybe 5'5", the last thing you would do would be key the car of the guy who's threatening you. That's just stupid. The fact that they're even entertaining this line of thought is so corrupt and so dirty and just so ridiculous.
Well, there is. I feel like they could just be trying to let him spit more lies and hang himself a little bit. Maybe
absolutely not.
But they're also. I agree with you, but I mean that's what I would think the smart cop would be doing. Just kind of like.
That's your steel man of the situation. Yeah, I got you. They can always lie on their reports, and one of the things that I was talking shit the entire time I was getting raided. Like they had me in the backyard, they had cops around me, and I was just talking shit the entire fucking time. And I said something. I was like, "So what? You never lied?" "Oh no, I've never lied." And I was like, "Dude." I said something along the lines of like, your bullshit may fly with your sergeant, but it ain't going to fly up there. I was like, what are you going to do when you go up there and God asks you why you decided to throw an amputee in prison because you didn't like what was in his garden? And the guy had nothing. He was, I'm just doing my job. It's the law. It's like, so what, dude? Law is not morality. Like all the fucking Nazis said that, and they all still got the rope.
Mm-hmm.
Let's continue.
My door.
Yep.
He started saying, "Hey Miller, you what are you gonna do?" Right?
Yep.
You know, he already started on me as soon as I opened my door.
Right. And then,
So
which guy was that? Because there was two guys.
yeah, I don't know which guy.
All right.
Yeah.
So did he bang your car with the door or something before that, or like why would
No,
he
as
key?
soon as I came out of the car,
You just got mad and keyed his car.
because he was already screaming at me.
All
He
right.
admits it
All right.
because he
Why
was
don't we
already
just-
screaming at me.
You want to just come to the
I was terrified, so I keyed his car.
No.
and roll it out that way. Why don't we just and it would probably be. It's up to you. You could write a statement saying he threatened. You know,
Yeah.
whatever the case was.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I keyed it out of what? I don't know, anger. I don't know what your issue
Self-defense.
was.
Yelling at me.
Yeah.
Did he threaten you at all, or?
I thought he was threatening me based on, you know, just my history with guys like that.
Yeah. What do you mean, like guys like that? Was he the?
I thought he was one of the gun nuts that, you know.
Yeah, if he was a gun nut, he'd be in fucking jail because they would have took his ass in.
Recognize him, or?
Yeah,
No,
gun
I
nut.
just- I
Gun nut.
thought he was.
Let's
Okay.
damage his property.
All right.
That's
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Why don't we do this here? Because it's a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
I think the guy just wants his restitution to get his car
Yeah,
fixed.
sure.
I mean, it's keyed pretty bad. I gotta be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah.
What did you do with your keys?
Laugh
or-
tell. You hear that little laugh tell?
I took my keys out when
He goes, his key pretty bad. Yeah. You know what my guess is in this situation? He didn't see them. He thought that he was just going to get away with it, and they caught him.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he didn't know.
I
they were
think
in
that-
the vehicle.
He didn't know. He didn't see him. Maybe they were off to the side of the. I think like they didn't really explain it well, but it's, I see they were kind of on the other side of the vehicle, kind of standing around. I think so. I think he pulled up thinking that they weren't part of that wasn't their car or something like that. And I think he just went for it. He saw their sticker on the back of the car when he pulled in, and he said, "Fuck you. I'm gonna fucking key your car because I can, because I'm a senator, and I know nothing is going to happen to me."
He's above the law.
started yelling at me.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Because that's, I mean, you got there's a lot. I mean, you could see you're between the cars, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious that I don't know. I mean, we'll
You're
be-
on camera.
So I had the keys out. So.
Right, but they're gonna. What's the reason?
How do we make this go away?
Because he was daring me to, basically.
He was daring me to.
All right, so
He
why don't
dared
we
me
do
to
this?
key his car.
Throw a pair of shoes on, come to the station. We'll.
Yeah.
All right. Bang
Hey,
out real
Miller,
quick.
I dare you to key my car.
It's a misdemeanor, like I said. It's Cap. Does he need money? You gonna do JP for him or?
Yes.
Yeah. $50.
Okay.
Bring $50, and
Yeah.
whoever the judge of the piece is on duty will come in, just get you out of there.
Yeah, we'll just get you out of there.
Senator, have a good night.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Just so you know, I mean, I gotta follow you in so you can grab a pair of shoes unless it's a
Okay.
big.
I'm surprised he
Right,
did
sir,
this.
right, sir? All right, I gotta come in there with you.
I was gonna end it here. I was gonna call it here, but the next video is just so good that we have to play it, and then we'll get out of here because I know it's getting late and you got to work tomorrow. Let's finish it up. So he goes inside
The guy wants me arrested for keying his
and immediately lies to his wife.
Here we go. Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
He admitted to it on the porch. Then he walks in and immediately lies to his wife.
Do you have, Senator? Do you
What a
have
piece of shit.
Sandy? All right.
Getting arrested for what?
I'll let you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything.
going down to.
He what, his
Straight-
car?
He says I keyed.
He says I keyed his car.
Keyed his car? What's that mean?
Dude, you're on body camera.
Who said that?
The guy who I parked next to.
Oh.
The guy I parked next to.
Somebody you parked
Jeez.
next to said you keyed your car and you had to go down to the station?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
Senator, I believe it's got to be cash. I think the justice of the peace accept cash only.
Senator. You notice how he calls him senator?
Let me just make sure I got enough.
Yeah, I know I have some.
Yeah.
I know I have that,
Yeah, you got $100 right there.
Yeah.
They.
You want me to?
Yeah, just bring all of it just in case. But it's $50.
Yeah, you'll be good.
So you have change? Should I get?
Just to the piece, they usually carry change as well. Yeah, they usually.
Okay, I got enough.
All right. Anything extra you want to leave behind? Just
I want to get my keys.
Keys. The less you bring, the better. But yeah, keys is a good move.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Come on, we're right on here.
This is the best. This is where it really gets good.
Just right here is fine, sir. I'm gonna shut this door for you and your wife, and we'll step right out.
Alberto, let him, if he wants to give a statement,
All right.
I threatened him or whatever when he got there, let him give.
They're still entertaining. Like, they're going to let him make a statement about the threats.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to cuff you. What? Oh.
You want me to drive?
Go ahead and drive down there. You'll be good. We don't need to put cuffs on him.
Do you have your keys?
No, let him follow.
Oh, my
Well,
God.
I mean, it is a misdemeanor, but I agree with you.
But it's if the tables were turned and it happened the other way, those guys would have been in cuffs in the back of the car at the fucking parking lot. No question about it. No question about it. They would have thrown the book at those dudes. Let me read a little bit from this article that, real quick. Do you think anything happened to him?
The senator?
Yeah.
No, probably not.
Of course not. He didn't even lose his seat. A Rhode Island state senator who was caught keying a man's car last month was sentenced to pay restitution after admitting to the charges of vandalism and obstruction of a police officer. Quote, I am very sorry for my actions in this matter, and I am disappointed in my behavior and lack of judgment. Senator Miller, blah, 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 blah. Quote, in a blink of an eye, I exhibited a lack of self-control that has impacted my reputation. Oh, no. He added, for that, I only have myself to blame, as I am solely responsible for what led to today's court decisions. What the fuck? Like, what a piece of shit. Oh, dude, I was going to say a staffer, but that's even better. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. There's no way he wrote that. So here's a statement from somebody who wants him gone. The Rhode Island Republican Party chair, who called for Miller to resign, said plea deal is disappointing, although not surprising. Quote, it's another case of politics as usual in the Ocean State. Joe Powers told Fox News, quote, in pure Rhode Island political fashion, another Democrat gets off with a slap on the wrist and retains his chairmanship of the powerful Health and Human Services Committee and committee assignments with no recourse. Nothing. These guys usually fail up, so I'm surprised he hasn't gotten a better job. He should be the new vice president. I'm calling it now. That's our vice president. Unreal. Well, I think we did it. Trump's going to be on Rogan on Friday. It's going to be. Did you hear that? Yeah, it's confirmed. Trump's on Rogan on Friday. It's going to be massive, dude. It's going to be like back when Rogan used to go live. Like, dude, when Alex Jones came on the podcast again for the Alex Jones Returns episode, there was like fucking millions of people watching it live. I think we're going to see the same thing. How often does Joe announce that he's going to have somebody on the podcast before it happens? Fucking never.
Yeah.
You never know what he's going to do. He's his own guy. And I'm not convinced it's going to go great for Trump. I think it could go either way. I really do. And there's rumblings that Kamala's team is in conversations with Joe Rogan to go on as well. I don't think there's any way it could go good for her. It is possible. It just depends on Joe. You know, like Joe's the fucking best interviewer in the world. By far. Like, he's so good. If he just wants to let Trump talk about fighting and UFC and shit like that for a couple hours, it'll be fine. But if he decides he wants to hold his feet to the fire, Trump's never been in a situation like that before. So it could go either way. And honestly, if Kamala goes on there and starts, spouting off about Medicare for all and legalizing marijuana and whatever else, Joe's into, it could go good for her. I don't think so. I don't think he's going to let her have an easy interview. And I don't think she'll end up doing it. She's in a death spiral right now, is what Daniel Steele says. It's like she's falling in the polls like crazy. So they're putting her on or we got to get her another interview to get her up in the polls. But the interviews go so bad that it just makes her go further down in the polls. So it's like this death spiral. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. She's fucked. She's cooked. This is the end of her. I'm glad. She's a piece of shit. She's a piece of shit. I was saying for a while that she's a nihilist, that she doesn't believe in anything, but I think that's wrong. I think that she's just an old school authoritarian that just believes in nothing but power. All she cares about is power. That's really what she wants. And she may get it. Well, until next time, we're out of here. 18 making rap till I'm 80. Too hard for the fucking radio.